I've learned the fastest way to get my puppy to learn new basic cues, basic manners, basic obedience, the quickest is to work with them during mealtime. So I hand feed Marlo almost every single meal, and I typically do it in and around her crate just to really reinforce the positive association that she'll have with and around her crate, especially because she lived her first 6 months primarily in a cage and a kennel. And so I really wanted to make the crate a happy place. And I will talk about how I crate trained her towards the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. So let's start off with the basic sit. What I do here, and this is key, the technique is everything, is I'll hold a treat. You can do this with a toy instead, or even just a hand, right? And I'll hold a treat and I'll bring it to her nose. I'm holding the treat under my thumb so she can't get it. I start to raise my hand up slowly while pushing my hand a little bit closer to her, because if I have it outwards like this, she's gonna likely step forward like that. So I'm gonna have my hand up. Yes, there we go. And I'm going to reward her as long as all fours are on the ground. You'll notice that as her bottom was touching the ground, like as it was going down, I followed that up with my marker cue, which is YES, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. This is her first time actually ever doing this. Some puppies, it takes a while, and that's okay. The key is not to rush it. I don't put any words or commands or cues to it yet. And if they stay in a sit, I'm gonna continue rewarding. Yes. Yes, and you notice I'm not rewarding when she has her paw on me or if she's pushing for it, because I don't want to reinforce that demanding behavior. Let's try that again. So I'm gonna hold the treat under my thumb, could be a toy, and yes, good girl. I don't know why she's getting this so quickly, but that's the beauty of puppies, is they are such fast learners. But don't worry, if yours takes a while, that's okay. So now let's jump into the DOWN. And again, I'm not putting any words to it. I'm not forcing her down, and I'm just holding the treat here. And what I'm gonna do, and the technique is key here, is I'm gonna pull the treat down while she's already in an SIT. You can do this if they're in a standing. And I'm gonna bring it down while kind of slowly going towards her body. Yes, good girl. As she's like laying down, the process of falling down to the ground, I'm following that up with my marker cue, YES. And as she stays in this position, this is what most people miss, I see. I'm gonna continue rewarding in the beginning. I want her to learn that being in a down position or a sit position is very valuable. So in the beginning, I'm gonna continue rewarding with treats or toys or play. To level it up, I change sides, I change environments. I practice this in the bedroom, the front yard, the backyard. And until they start going into an SIT quickly, I don't really start adding a verbal name to it or command to it. So we're gonna take the treat here and just kind of get her to look up a little bit. We're gonna practice on the SIT. Good girl. You can see she's already started to lose interest a little bit. And that's just because she's not super motivated. She's nervous. Yes, good girl. And a little burp on my face, I love it. Good girl. And then we're gonna practice going DOWN. Keeping it close to her body, that's key. Yes, good girl. You notice that I'm not, here you go, you missed it. The treat's under your mouth, there you go. You notice that when I'm asking her or luring her down, I'm not having my hand away from her. I keep it close to her because that almost forces her body to kind of go to a down. And then I just kind of keep rewarding. And yes, good girl, yeah. We want the sit and the down. You see her put her paws up there. She's just a very timid girl. But we want this to be a very pleasing opportunity. Now, before I talk about the marker cue and how I use it and how I train it, probably my favorite thing to teach any dog is the touch cue. This is great because one, dogs learn it fast, especially puppies, because they get instant gratification. Two, I love it because it can really help with recall later down the road. And three, it's a foundation of really fun, more advanced tricks to use later on. So basically what the touch cue is I put my hand out, and when I say touch, when she learns it, her nose is to go to my palm, no matter where it is. So to start training this, I'm just gonna hold my hand close to her nose. Yes, you would think I've done this, but I haven't done this with her yet. I love it. And then over time, you can slowly get further away. So we're gonna put my hand here. So she smells the treats in my other hand. I don't have treats in this hand. Yes, good girl. Let's do over here. So that might be a little far for her, but let's see. Yes, good girl. And as soon as her nose is making contact with my hand, as soon as that's happening, I'm rewarding with my marker cue. You wanna come over here? Yes. Okay, before we jump into the next part, I need to take a moment to talk about something extremely important to me when it comes to helping my dogs live as long as possible. It's something I've done since day one, and that is making sure that they have pet medical insurance. I have been talking about the one we use, which is Trupanion, for years, which is why it's extremely exciting that Trupanion is supporting our mission to save all the damn dogs by sponsoring this part of the video. And the reason I'm a big fan of pet medical insurance is because it helps to ensure that if you're ever in a situation where you have to take your dog to the vet for a health or medical concern, that you're never having to make a decision based on what is optimal and best for your dog versus what you can afford. For me, it's an investment into having peace of mind, especially with my involvement and work within rescue. It's far too common I see pet owners and pet parents releasing and surrendering their dogs to a rescue or an animal shelter or for euthanasia because they simply cannot afford the medical care or health care that their dog needs. And that's something that I can never erase from my memory, watching those families surrender their dog, knowing they're never going to see him or her again because of a financial reason. And I totally get and have empathy that that happens. And I'm so grateful there are rescue groups like who I volunteer with when I started fostering Marlowe and shelters out there to support families. But one of the things I have been encouraging and advocating all pet owners to do and to get, if at all possible, is to invest in a pet medical insurance because it really helps just give, like I said before, that peace of mind. I'm going to keep these sessions really short, really positive, because what we're also doing here and why this activity is so incredibly important is this is how you're going to build your puppy's confidence. The more they learn how to do, the more that they work with you and get positive reinforcement for doing what they know they want them to do, the more confidence they're going to have. This is how we're going to have less anxious, less nervous, less worried puppies. Hi, yes, you enjoying that? Yeah, we're enjoying that. The treats that I'm using, by the way, these are front of the pack. What I love about these treats is they are single ingredient, responsibly raised. I'm actually using the rabbit with her. I love rabbit because it's one of the highest protein per calorie options for dogs. It's really great for allergy dogs, sensitive tummy dogs, because it is rabbit. Rabbit is a novel protein. A lot of dogs that are picky or suffer with allergies really do well on rabbit. It's a very hard protein to find. They don't add any fillers, sugars, nothing like that. And then they also have salmon. Now, a pro tip is anytime I give my puppy something of value, a toy, a chew, they need to be in an SIT or down first, or a calm position. I don't want them pawing at me, jumping up at me. And what that is teaching them is good things happen when they're in a sit position. So she's staying in a sit. I'm going to reward this. Yes, good girl. If your puppy offers a sit, this is probably the most important part of this video. If your puppy ever offers a sit or a down, please, for the love of your dog, do not forget to reward that on occasion. If you catch a puppy just sitting and chilling and being calm, reward that, and you can follow that with their marker cue, YES. Now, before I talk more about puppy biting, crate training, and potty training, let's quickly talk about my marker cue. I start doing this right away. All of this I'm doing, we started with her day one. When I was raising and helping to train my mom's puppy, Wally, we started day one when he was 8 weeks old. So when people ask, when do I start? I say now. So marker cue was like using a clicker. When my dog does something that I like and I want to communicate that to them, I tell them YES. It's easier for me than fumbling with a clicker, but they're the same concept. And the way that I train it is anytime I give her a treat after doing something I want her to do, I am at the exact same time am telling her very assertively, very clearly, yes. So like this. Yes, and then I'm going quickly with a treat. Yes, very quickly with a treat. Over time, you won't have to use treats because you have practiced so many times that when you say, and every time you say that yes command, yes, she gets something positive, and it doesn't have to be food. It could be toy, it could be attention, it could be play, but every time you say that yes cue in the beginning, something really yes, good girl, positive happens, then in the future you can randomly and slowly, gradually phase out giving treats afterwards. And because you practice so much with your puppy, in the future, if you don't have a treat or food to follow it by, it won't matter. They're still going to get that positive sensation after you say the yes word, and it's going to hold so much power. And if you want to see daily updates of my dogs or of Marlowe's progress, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at RachelFusaro. And if you found value with this and you want to help us on our mission to save all the damn dogs, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It really means the world to us to have you part of our community. So now let's finally talk about crate training and potty training. For my one-step potty training process that has helped millions, click the video right here. And if you want to learn more about crate training, click the video right here and we'll go over that together right now. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Goodbye.